So welcome back to another episode, guys, of Devon's Beekeeping, and today we're gonna be doing an inspection of Hive A01. Unfortunately for this video, the audio got messed up, so I'll be doing a voiceover just to give you an idea of what's really taking place. So without further ado, we can go ahead and get it started. Alright, so this colony will be one of the production hive that I have planned for 2020, and so far the queen has been doing a tremendous job. I have broken her down before, and she has built up back the nest quite nicely. I haven't gotten the chance of doing an inspection in this colony for a while. I think it's about 3 weeks going on, so I wanted to check on them, seeing that we have stopped gotten the rain and everything. So we want to see what their progress is. I know that we've been getting a lot of pollen coming in since the rain stopped, so let's take a look down and see what we can do. So first down, you can already see that I had feed on them that they pretty much used up as already. This I'm just gonna remove it out of the box, and I had given them 2 of this bag full of sugar water 1-to-1 mix, and they pretty much devoured that at the moment, so I think that's pretty good. So I'm just going to go down in there to check how much space they have, what they've been using it for. But as you can see there, that is also some dry sugar fondant that I pretty much had, that I put in there as well. Once they've pretty much finished with the liquid feed, they can also go out and get water, come back and break down that, so they don't ever really completely run out of carbohydrate source. So just gonna take a top look in the top to see if they've been storing anything. Pretty much I have been feeding them a lot, and these girls are pretty good at building up propolis as well, so I'm just cleaning off as I go down into the box. In the area has a lot of breadfruit trees, and they pretty much go there and chew on the breadfruit, and it gives off sap, and they take it back, and this is pretty much the result of that. Now as you can see, they're already pretty up in the top already. This frame that I'm pulling out, you can see that there's bee coverage on it, and this is all nectar, so there is enough nectar source coming in to where the bees can store nectar and sustain the colony as well, which is good. So it tells me that the season is just about to get started off, and we're gonna go into the swarm season. So always good to see activity up in the second box. Now it's my duty now to try and get her to extend the nest up into this box as we go into the swarm season, pretty much so she will have enough space to lay. So all this nectar and everything that you see that they're having in the second box, I'm gonna be moving them gradually, but at the moment I am just want to go down into the brood nest to see what's happening down there. So good bee coverage so far on those 2 frames that they are working. And if you look at that one there, that's a shallow, and that's me already preparing to give them additional space. So I give them the shallow frame, and what they will do is just go ahead and draw that down, and then as I dry it out with brood, I'll move that up into the into a super. Alright, so going down into the brood nest, you can see that we're pretty much we have coverage against all frames. So this colony has really bounced back superbly, and I brought them down to about 2 frames of bees or 3 frames of bees, and move this to a different location. So I'm pretty much, this queen has been doing a superb job. So let's go down into the nest to see what's happening. Alright, so as I told you guys that I don't have a lot of super frames drawn out, so I'll introduce super frames down into the bottom box as well for them to draw that out. Once they draw it out, I'll move that up to allow the brood to hatch out, and then I'll gradually move that into the super. So this frame that we're looking at here, this is all nectar, and as you can see, that's a honeycomb cell as well, so a lot of big cells there. So trying to find the brood nest. Alright, so this is a sheet of foundation that was put in there that they've already started working on, but based on what I'm seeing here, they're only drawing this for storage. Lots of worker combs, but they're only backfilling at the moment. So this tells me that whatever source is coming on, they've not started utilize up at the top as yet. It's pretty much being stored down into the brood chamber. So I still want to go up a little bit into the nest. Alright, so girls, I've gotten a little riled up the moment I pulled out this frame, but this one, let's see. Alright, so this one pretty much is the first frame that we went in to the brood nest, and it has a lot of nectar on it as well. So this spells for me that there may be a problem in the future if I'm not very careful. And as you can see, the girls aren't really happy me being down that much into the brood nest, so I'm gonna smoke them down a little just to calm them down, give them something else to focus on while I take a better look into that brood nest. So we're already looking at one frame so far, but it has a lot of nectar storage. So I'm gonna pull out the outer frame just to see what's happening on it. And yeah, they haven't started using the outer frame. So because I realized that the frame that I just pulled out, that I realized that they're utilizing a lot, so that frame that I realized that they're storing nectar in, I'm gonna put that up into the second brood box, and that one that is on the end I'll leave down in the brood chamber as it's empty and it's not being utilized. So that will give them something else to store incoming nectar. And the frame that they're drawing out that's also being used as storage, I'm gonna leave that down the bottom as well, because I've already seen that their intentions for that frame is for storage. So I'm gonna leave them to let them do that, and then this empty frame I'll just put it down there just to ensure that they have something else to store the incoming nectar for. So I'll put back the foundation strip that they were already working on drawing out and backfilling, and I'm gonna move up that first frame of brood a little bit as well, and put it back there so they'll finish drawing that out. So now I am going to go into the brood nest because I want to see what space they really have are they working with, and they're getting riled up again, so I'm gonna put a little smoke on them just to get them back down. Okay, so let's have a look into the other frame. Okay, so this is another foundation that I introduced that's pretty much halfway drawn out so far, and pretty much it's the same thing. So they're mostly using it for nectar. There is brood there, but as it's being drawn out, it's mostly being used for nectar store. So if I don't correct this as soon as possible, it's going to lead to swarming, and it's a little too early in the season. So this is what I'm going to do. I have this frame that is mostly worker brood. As you can see, this is mostly worker brood. So that is gonna do two things for the queen. She's gonna have more space to lay, and it has a little wax damage, which they're not gonna have any problem cutting out and cleaning out. This was frozen, so I ensure that there's no wax larvae in there, and I'll put that directly into the brood nest area, so the queen will have more space that she can lay. And you really only want to put worker frame in this area, because anything else is gonna result in division of the brood nest. If you put a drone brood or something that they were used to store nectar, it pretty much will divide the nest, and we really don't want that. So I'm only using worker brood at this moment. So for that second space there, this one that I'm giving them was also started to be worked out as well, and that was also mostly worker brood as well. So they're getting riled up again. I'm gonna put them a little smoke on them just to get them back down. As you can see, the population is pretty decent, and I'm gonna give them that frame to finish working out as well. So hopefully they'll finish draw that down. So now I've introduced two extra frame in the bottom, and then for that last frame that they also have to store nectar in it as well. And the one that they were working on to the far right, they also have space where they can put finish drawing it down and store nectar in it. But also for the second box, because I know that they have space there where they can do storage, but I want to also give them a little bit more space just in case. So in order to encourage her, in case she's running out of space, I'm gonna also introduce a few empty combs above the brood nest, which I can say would have been the three frames to the right. So I'm gonna go back and put back the super on the second brood chamber. That also has a lot of honey that they were, or nectar that they were storing. And yeah, I can see that there's still a lot of girls coming out. I really don't want to crush any, so I'm gonna put back some more spoke on them to get them down. That way I can put the box on and not really damage a lot of the young bees. We want to keep the population as high as possible, so when we go into the swarm season, I want that population to peak where they're working on anywhere from I would say 17 or even 15 active brood frames. So she'll have more than enough space, and once they make that switch over to nectar storing, then that would be good. I'll give them all the space, but for now I just want to ensure that they have enough space to store the incoming nectar that's coming in. So that frame that you see still work a comb as well, and I'm gonna be putting that directly over the cluster below. So if down at the bottom is becoming plug, she will have that where she can come up and lay into, and that will get rid of any little, if there we're gonna start developing any swarm tendency or preparation to leave, then that will pretty much give them or reassure them that they do have enough space where they can store the incoming nectar. And as the season goes along, I don't have a lot of, pretty much this is the first season that I'll ever be using super frames. I need to get them to encourage them to pretty much draw them out. So these two frames I put directly over the cluster of bees, and anything, any if she wants to come up and lay, she can come up and use those two frames. And then they also have foundation strips, so they can start working on them as well. So I'll just put back in those two, and I'll go ahead and pretty much close up this box for the moment. Won't check back on this box for another 2 week, um, as the weather can be a little bit unpredictable at this time of the year. So I'm gonna give them another 2 week, and then I'll check back on them to see how well. What I do as well, just to ensure that the box aren't getting crowded, I'll do nightly walkthroughs through the apiary, and I'll check the entrance coverage for each box. This can be done once every week or so you can see how the population is progressing without even having to enter the box. You look at the entrance. If the entrance is over guarded, that means that you need to increase the entrance a little more. So I normally just do that during the night, so I know how well they can defend the box. If there's not enough bees covering the full entirety of the entrance, then I'll just reduce the entrance to where the bees are actively guarding. So this will pretty much give them enough space that they can defend. So if there's any pest that's coming in into the box, red ants, etc., then you pretty much have the space where the bees are actively guarding, and it's not just an entire wide space where the ants are using a different way to enter into the nest. So that's how I know pretty much what size entrance or how to increase or decrease the entrance based on the guarding that I see during the night. It's pretty hard to tell during the day. I have not really developed a knack for it as yet, so that's it. So anyways guys, this is pretty much the end of the video. Just wanted to say thank you again for watching, and as usual, give us a like, share, or subscribe, and have a good one. Bye bye.